Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go-to-Market AI, the future of your go-to-market tech stack. I'm your host, Sarah McConnell. And these days, it seems like every company has AI, but on this show, we want to go a level deeper so you can see firsthand how businesses are using AI to solve your business challenges. We're going deep into the use cases and getting live demos of the latest and greatest in AI technology. Today, I'm so excited to be joined by Jim Payne, Director of Product Marketing at Dialpad. Jim, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So first of all, I would love to hear a little bit more about who is Dialpad, what do you guys do, and who are you helping on the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So Dialpad is a technology company focused on artificial intelligence and communications. So that could mean anything from an ordinary knowledge worker who's just doing everyday collaboration, as well as helping the contact center is a big one. So if you work in customer service, there are a lot of really great artificial intelligence applications there that we're working on, as well as revenue intelligence for sales folks, a lot of amazing tools there as well. So helping all of those personas in a very impactful way.
Awesome. So I would love to jump into the demo and see how your AI functionality actually works live.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and just start here. And this is the Dialpad application. So this is home base for everything. You'll see a lot of things that might seem ordinary on the surface, make a phone call, send a message, start a video meeting, something like that, right? Now, in any other world, these are just mere tools, but for us, they become data inputs because when you're using Dialpad for these different things, for communications, for collaboration, video, et cetera, we're actually able to derive a lot of good insights, provide automation in different places, provide a lot of assistance as well. And I'll show you a few things how that works. I'll go ahead and make a phone call directly into this and make sure it works just fine. We'll show you a few things. It might look a little bit odd just because I'm calling myself, which is a bit strange, but we see a call coming in right out of the gates, okay? And now we see a transcription engine fire up. The transcription is going to look strange just because, again, I'm talking to myself, but this is where a lot of that goodness starts. It is just in this transcription. So let's say we have a customer who's calling in, and I'll go ahead and ask a couple of questions here. You'll see some points of assistance that are very, very powerful. So let's say, hi, I'd like to learn a little bit more about the pricing on your support products. Okay, so the customer asks that, and right away, we see this really cool assist fire because the artificial intelligence is listening, and it's going to pull from unstructured data, or you can program in all these really amazing, real-time assist cards, things like that. So as an agent or as a salesperson, those answers are always going to be surfaced to me right out of the gates, no matter what, which is really cool because I've been a call center agent before, I've worked in sales before. Oftentimes, maybe a customer asks you a question, you don't know the answer. Your only recourse is really to stand up, ask the people around you, maybe furiously search through a knowledge base that you have access to and hope you can find it or something like that. Or if you're in sales, you might be asking the people around you to see if you can find an SE or something like that. It's not very effective. And we know that time kills deals, things like that. It's just not a great deal. So the artificial intelligence is going to surface that information to you right when you need it so you can say it in real time, whether it's pricing information, product information, you name it. So a really, really powerful tool in that sense. It's also going to do things like give you competitive intelligence. Like, for example, a customer might say, hi, I'm also looking at Gong. What are the differences between Dialpad and Gong? Okay, that might be one. And now look, automatically the artificial intelligence says, hey, I'm going to search your knowledge base for a Gong battle card, and I'm going to tell you the differences right now. So now I can speak about it intelligently as opposed to going to talk to someone in marketing or competitive intelligence and finding out what the key differences are, that kind of thing. It's a much more powerful way to do these things. So again, this is all powered by the artificial intelligence. This is in production today. It gives you some great talk tracks in that sense. It also puts a human in the middle, which we really like. So if I'm a sales rep, I can say, hey, this was helpful, this was not. It's going to help train the models. It's also going to put that AI parenting concept that we have in place, that becomes very important because then whoever's managing your knowledge base is going to get automatically flagged to say, this is not helpful, this is helpful, here's some things you might want to change. It's also going to automatically identify redundancies, things like that. So that way your knowledge base is always comprehensive and up to date.
Yeah, this is really incredible. Just right off the bat, I think we hear a lot about AI being able to help us scale, or I hate this term, but do more with less. And that was kind of the narrative, I feel like, when it first, had this explosion last year of AI. And it's always really cool to see it come to fruition in products and how that looks like in practice. And I think this is such a like key important use case, which is being able to answer questions on the fly. To your point of like, I think about our sales team, if something comes up in a sales call that they really don't, what are you going to do during mid-call? Are you going to like frantically Slack people and try to ask questions? It just creates a not great buying experience for your prospect. And being able to pick that up and suggest answers is just, I feel like one of my favorite use cases of AI and helping teams scale. So this is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very practical. And, even outside of the real-time things, you see stuff like, oh, I don't know, you have people walk off the job or someone retires and maybe they've worked there a long time and they have all this institutional knowledge in their minds. How do you get that from them? And how do you make it accessible to another person? This kind of negates that, right? It also makes training a lot easier, whereas opposed to, trying to make sure every person remembers every fact, every piece of information. They don't have to anymore because the artificial intelligence is going to actually take that out of their control. So now they don't need to remember. They can just focus on talking. You teach them how to use the AI. It makes onboarding easier. I mean, it just makes everything easier when you create that knowledge center and then just use AI to actually surface it to people. So then outside of that, let's even look at another thing. Let's say, security, that's always going to be front and center for just about everything and everybody. Let's go ahead and see what happens when I, talk about my credit card information on here. So my credit card number is 1111222233334444. Okay, so we got the credit card number, and now automatically we see that the artificial intelligence is redacting that information right out of the gate. So it's a front level of security, which is really nice to actually keep people's private information private. Helps mitigate fraud, things like that. It also makes things more efficient on the model training side that we have because it's already gone through a level of scrubbing automatically, and then it's going to go through manual review later. So we see that as well, which is very, very powerful.
That's incredible. So you as the end user, if you went in and looked at this transcript, that's already redacted. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's an incredible safety feature.
Yeah, a really nice safety feature because you have admins, you have a lot of people touching transcripts, things like that. We don't want that information in there. PII is PII for a reason. So we've got to get it out. So we get it out automatically so it doesn't even show up in the transcript, which is nice. So there's some of the live assistant features that we wanted to show you. Let me go ahead and exit out of that call. We can disposition the call, which is very, very straightforward. We'll go ahead and just put nothing in there and complete it. Now, I want to show you some of the back-end analytics, okay? So a lot of this stuff is only as good as the back-end analytics. We can do a lot of cool things, but the whole goal for artificial intelligence is really that it creates more of a circle of improvement as opposed to just a point solution for us. So if we go even into the analytics, one of the cool things that we're doing from this is automatically inferring sentiment. And you can see that right here. A lot of companies are doing customer satisfaction scoring, but they do it through manual surveys, things like that. Let me ask you, Sarah, do you ever stick around for 2 to 3 minutes to do those customer satisfaction surveys after you're on the call with your internet provider or someone like that?
Can confidently say I've never done it one time.
Yes, exactly. Nobody does, right? So now all of a sudden, if you're working in customer experience or something like that, you're flying blind. You don't even know where to train people. Maybe your customers aren't happy. You may not even know it. Or you're doing a good job in certain areas and you don't know what those best practices are. So you're really just guessing. So for us, because we're listening to every single interaction, we're able to automatically apply customer satisfaction scores to every single thing. So that's macro data, which is really nice. You can say, hey, here's how we're actually doing. Then also you get all this interesting micro data. So these are moments in time where you can say, hey, here was a moment of negative sentiment that the customer had. Here was a moment of positive sentiment. Here's where the call went wrong. You can evaluate it over time. So now you're able to take action as a whole. So for example, you could just filter in the analytics and say, hey, what call categories, because we're getting automatic call categorization from the artificial intelligence, which we see right there. So it could say, oh, it's taking unstructured data and giving it structure like, hey, these calls are about billing, they're about support, et cetera, et cetera. And now I can filter as an administrator and say, where are my worst customer satisfaction scores coming from? And I find out, oh, it's all about billing. So now I can work on our billing procedures as a business process. I can also work on tailoring training to our reps to make sure that they know exactly how to handle billing issues, et cetera, et cetera. You can also look at individual reps or agents and say, this agent is struggling, this agent is not. Here, we just need to work with them in whatever way necessary. So it gives you a lot of really good, rich data. You also get these nice recaps and summaries and action items from calls. another time saver for sales folks, or if you're working from the road, things like that. You get all those recaps and action items automatically from that transcript. So this is all powered by Dialpad GPT. That is our bespoke large language model that we launched a while back. It works very, very well to provide these things, which is very nice. So you get all of that from a single call.
Yeah, the sentiment score I think is so interesting because I do, I'm obviously on the marketing side, but from a customer success side, I know it can be really hard to get that feedback, especially when a lot of the times when you're asking for feedback, it's to customers who are happy. And so it kind of creates this echo chamber. Right. We've heard that's a problem. Like we know we're doing really well and we get that echo chamber of positives, but finding your gaps and finding out where there might be some issues and being able to pinpoint those, being able to pull that just out of transcripts and having AI help you figure out, is it a specific area or to your point, is it a specific individual that's really struggling? I can see where this would be I'm thinking of our customer success team and I'm seeing where this could have a ton of value.
Yeah, for customer success, for sales, it helps you forecast. We can use the same sentiment in that sales use case where we can evaluate likelihood to buy to help you forecast sales. You can also have all these interesting moments in time where you look at a seller who's underperforming and you can look at the same thing and just say, oh, Sarah's not closing any business. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at like what she's saying, what she's doing. Is she screwing up? Is she not? Is it just bad luck? Does she just need, maybe she just doesn't know about the materials we have or the sales tools or things like that. So it helps you answer, it's like you're solving the right problem now, as opposed to sometimes you don't know what the right problem is and AI helps you know what that is. And now you can go solve it in a more actionable way. We also see this for QA. When I was a call center agent, we had scheduled QA days, which is like a scorecard where your supervisor sits behind you. They just listen to all your calls. Super manual, super terrible. Some companies handle this, especially if you're in a heavily regulated industry where you need to follow certain QA criteria to be in compliance with some government regulation or something like that. Very, very difficult. They have supervisors. We see customers have teams of 5, 6 people who their whole job is just to listen to call recordings. And they just listen to them on 2 or 3x speed, and they just check little boxes just to make sure that everything is correct. We take that all out of your hands. It's so easy to configure. You can just say, hey, here are the things we need to make sure are happening. We need to make sure that our agents or our sellers are saying the right things. Perfect. And the AI is going to go ahead and evaluate every single call against those criteria that you set so you can evaluate conformity, things like that. So a very, very powerful tool in that sense. I mean, it's just going to automate, and then give you better insights. The better insights you have, the better training you have, and then the people get better, and more analytics and more insights, and you just continue in this sort of circle, and everybody gets better, the company gets better. I really do believe that companies who aren't adopting these kinds of practices with AI are going to fall off, and we see that even historically, right? How many bowling alleys have you been to recently, Sarah, that have manual pin setters? That was the origins of bowling. It was a person sitting there, you knock the pins over, and then they had some people and they would stack them all up for you. When was the last time you saw one of those?
Never.
Right? Ever. They fall off. We even remember back when e-commerce, was coming around. The way I did that, I had to order something. If I couldn't find it in the stores, I had to call, and there was a person who answered a phone, and I had to give them what I wanted, part numbers, and then someone had to go manually fulfill it, or I had to fill out a card, mail it in, to a fulfillment center. That doesn't exist anymore because anybody who thought that e-commerce was just like, that'll it's just a flash in the pan, right? Like those companies are gone now, because everything is e-commerce. This is the future, and companies who operate this way will set themselves apart. And I believe that in my DNA.
I could not agree more. Another thing I want to call out here that is not specific to the AI functionality, but just to your guys' UX is I really love it. I think anytime I see these AI powered products where just even that scorecard on the right-hand side, how easy it is to digest that information, the quick 100% complete, 50% complete. You've got the logo there that tells you this is helping you from Dialpad's AI. That's always just such a useful part of having AI in products now is something I'm hoping we'll see more and more products do is really think about like how the UX looks and how they're surfacing AI and telling end users that they're benefiting from in their product. So anyways, this really stood out to me in Dialpad's product that I just really love how it's set up and designed.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we pride ourselves on that. The accessibility is so important. And the fact that it's one solution is really nice. It's not a bunch of point solutions cobbled together, and it's all working in real time, which is a big deal as well. You'll see a lot of point solutions going to tack on to your telephony or your collaboration, what have you, and they'll give you some decent insights on the back end. Because this is an entire stack that's fully owned by us, we get to actually listen to every single call path as opposed to just a blob of sound and do all the identification on the back end. And now we get to provide all that stuff in real time, which is really, really big. You get all the same analytics, which are good, but then the real-time assistance too.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Cool. Well, that's everything I wanted to show. It's all very straightforward. These are some of the more practical ways where you guys are using AI today. I mean, we could show different stuff all day long, and I would invite everybody to, if you want to see more, just reach out to us. We can do a detailed custom demonstration as well.
Absolutely. Jim, thank you so much for taking us through that demo. If you're ready, I would love to transition into our lightning round Q&A and ask you a couple questions. Of
course. Yeah, go for it.
So the first one is, how long has Dialpad been building AI into your product?
Yeah, this is, it's not new for us. I remember even when OpenAI and ChatGPT started to have their moment, our CTO kept saying, we're gonna see about 100 new AI companies pop up out of nowhere. And sure enough, that was the case. We've been doing this since 2016. So that was when we really started doing the real-time transcription, which is where so much of this is coming from. So it's been a long time. Obviously, you're building in other things like semantic search with AI, the automatic speech recognition with AI. The most recent big infrastructure piece was Dialpad GPT, which we talked about, which is really just helps you scale in a more economical way because it's a bespoke LLM designed for business communications, as opposed to being trained on the open internet. It's just trained to do this stuff. It's not going to give you a recipe for apple pie, because that's not what it's for. But it's going to do all this in a very accurate way that's also very cost effective and scalable. Amazing. And is what you showed today, is that available for your customers right now? It is. Everything I showed today is generally available. You can access it, use it. It's all there. Amazing. And speaking of customers, who are some of the customers that are benefiting from Dialpad AI? Yeah. Oh, so many. I think more than 98%, I believe, of our customers are using AI in some form or another with Dialpad. We have lots of large customers, big and small. The LA Chargers are a big one. They're a heavy user of artificial intelligence inside Dialpad, which is really, really cool. T-Mobile is a great partner of ours. They actually resell Dialpad, which is really nice. So all of their customers are getting a lot of really great AI things as well. Car Gurus is another one that kind of comes to mind. They obviously have a very large customer service team because everything's so driven through their website, and obviously buying a car is kind of a different experience with them and more innovative. So they've really adopted that innovative mindset to say, hey, how can we be efficient with this? How can we use artificial intelligence through Dialpad to be more effective? There's some very fun logos. And then the last question is, what is next on your AI roadmap at Dialpad? Yeah, so many cool things coming out next. We're working on a lot of polish. I mean, I really believe we've only scratched the surface of what we can do here. You're talking about cooler things like write capability into CRM. So it's like, all of a sudden, note-taking for sales reps becomes completely irrelevant, which is really neat. We got some next-gen chatbot stuff coming out, which is really exciting too. I've had so many bad chatbot experiences, where you're like, all it does is just searches the help center, and then it's like, I don't know, talk to a person. And you're like, oh, come on. And then you got to talk to a person and give them all that context again. Because we're working across every channel, we're already going to preserve all that context. And we have some awesome digital self-service products and chatbots available. We're going to start folding in generative AI into those, which is going to be really, really neat and exciting. There's some next-gen agent assist stuff coming out too, which I'm excited about. You saw the first generation here. The next gen's going to be even better, where it'll start actually writing talk tracks for you as opposed to just finding information and giving it to you, which is going to be really neat. Also, I mean, the world is our oyster in this sense. So we've got a lot of cool stuff coming out shortly, and even more in the distant future, rather. Amazing. I can't wait to see what Dialpad does next, because even the demo that you showed today, I thought was really incredible. So excited to see where you guys take this in the future. But Jim, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time and showing us this incredible demo. So thank you so much. Thank you.